Hello children, today we will discuss about second chapter of class 7, Bahamani Adil Shah. Today let us learn about how the Bahamani Adil Shah dynasty came into being, who were the great rulers of the Bahamani dynasty. Look at the history of Karnataka. Vijayanagara Empire was established in 1336 CE. Later on 3rd August 1347 CE, the first Muslim dynasty, Bahamani Empire, came to exist. As I told you, Bahamani kingdom was established in 1347 CE after the establishment of Vijayanagara Empire. Who was the founder of Bahamani Empire, children? Alauddin Hasan Gangu Bahman Shah was the founder of Bahamani kingdom. He was working in the army of Delhi Sultan Muhammad bin Tughlaq. Now let us discuss about Bahamani Sultans. They ruled from 1347 to 1527 CE. Bahamani kingdom had the parts of present Karnataka, Maharashtra and Andhra Pradesh states under its rule. In the beginning, Kalburgi and later Bidar were their capitals. Bahamani Empire was in northern part of the Krishna River and Vijayanagara Empire was in southern part of Krishna River. So, battles were taking place continuously between the Bahamani Sultans and Vijayanagara kings. Tajuddin Firoz Shah was the greatest sultan in Bahamani dynasty. He ruled from 1397 to 1422 CE. He was very liberal and he was a believer of God, which is the holy book of Islam. Quran is the holy book of Islam. Tajuddin Firoz Shah made copies of Quran and edited it for his whole life. He was a writer, encouraged all languages. He built a new city called Firozabad on the bank of Bhima river. He was an expert in geometry and theology. Theology is the study of God and religious belief. Tajuddin Firoz Shah established an observatory in Daulatabad, which is in the present Maharashtra state. An observatory is a building with a large telescope from which scientists study things such as the planets by watching them. Tajuddin Firoz Shah gifted many villages to Sufi saint Bande Nawaz who arrived in the kingdom during this period. Firoz Shah died on 1st October 1422 in Gulbarga. Dear children, now let us learn about Muhammad Gawan. He ruled from 1463 to 1481 CE. All credits of making Bahamani dynasty great goes to Muhammad Gawan. Basically, he was a Persian and he worked honestly as a prime minister in the period of Sultan Muhammad Shah III. Important factors or contributions of Muhammad Gawan. He enlarged the boundaries of the kingdom. He captured Hubballi, Belagavi and Goa from the Vijayanagara Empire. Administration was according to the Islamic laws. He fixed tax on the basis of land fertility and irrigation facility. Tax was collected only in the form of cash. He removed some taxes which were burdens for the people. Muhammad Gawan founded Madrasa, which means university, in Bidar. Subjects studied by students here were astronomy, mathematics and history. Astronomy means the scientific study of the universe and objects that exist naturally in space, such as the moon, the sun, planets, and stars. Free education and hostel facilities provided. Around 3000 manuscripts were in the library of Madrasa. Dear children, Muhammad Gawan contributed a lot in making the Bahamani kingdom great. Many regional leaders could not tolerate his success and they were jealous of his fame and conspired to have him murdered. On the Gawan's tomb, it is written that innocent Gawan was killed. After his death, the kingdom became weak and disintegrated into 5 parts. This is about Muhammad Gawan. Now let us learn about the cultural contributions of Bahamani kingdom. First one is education. Bahamani sultans gave more importance for Islamic education. Chanting of Quran was part of the education. Kalburgi, Bidar, Elichapur and Daulatabad were their important Islamic educational centers. Poor people and orphans were provided free food and shelter. Scholarships were given to the students, those who were poor. Next one is literature. Literary activities were greatly encouraged by Bahamani sultans. They sheltered many philosophers, poets, and writers during their time. Firoz Shah, Muhammad Shah II, and Muhammad Gaban were writers. During their time, Persian, Arabic, and Urdu literature were developed. The language that they and other foreigners used became famous as Dakkani. Later it developed as Urdu language. Children, now let us learn about sculpture. Sculpture is a work of art that is produced by carving or shaping stone, wood, clay, or other materials. The history of Bahamani dynasty is famous for sculpture and architecture. Some important monuments were built in Bidar, Kalburgi, and other places. They followed Indo-Islamic style of architecture. It is familiar as Dakkani style. The first contributions of Bahamanis is Jamia Masjid of Kalburgi, and it was built by Muhammad Shah. Tombs of sultans are in Kalburgi and they also dome structures. What is a tomb? A tomb is a place where a dead person is buried. The tomb of Bande Nawaz is another prominent monument of Kalburgi. Bidar Solankamba Mosque and beautiful palaces in the fort are famous. These buildings are decorated and have curved wooden crafts on them. There are 12 tombs of Ashtur near Bidar are very famous. For example, tomb of Ahmad Shah Bahamani, tomb of Humayun, etc. The prominent monument of the Bahamani kingdom is the Madrasa. You already studied about it, which was built by Muhammad Gawan. It is 242 feet wide, 222 feet long and 56 feet height. Dear children, these are the cultural contributions of Bahmani sultans. Thank you. Take care.